Were your drivers happy? Were the employees happy? They were getting paid pretty good?
It was always good. I always paid people well.
Okay.
I never really had a problem keeping and retaining drivers. It was just more functionality and me being like, okay, I'm not making anything.
Okay.
So I wanted to quit about 5 times. I almost gave up 3 or 4 or 5 times. It was shouts out to my wife for
holding it down.
Yeah, for giving me that push when I was like, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to work. And she was like, I feel it. Something's about to happen. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And truth be told, it happened.
So at this time you have the 2 trucks, like box trucks, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get the van that's sitting somewhere doing whatever it's doing.
Sitting at the crib.
You're in the red, right? Negative 40,000. Yeah. All right, let's talk about how we start clawing our way back up to at least break even. Like what do you start doing now?
Got more aggressive on the load boards.
Okay.
Got more aggressive. Start reaching out to more people. Stop depending on Amazon solely.
Okay.
Because in this time, the story is interesting because 8 months after I started the business in Atlanta, I moved the trucking company to Phoenix.
Okay.
So I moved to Phoenix for 18 months, and I grind out Amazon. I found the connection on Craigslist for two trucks worth of work.
Okay.
Out in Phoenix. So me and my cousin, so I'm like, look, all right, we're going to Phoenix. The rates look a little bit good.
Right.
And I'm sick of Atlanta. I'm sick of trying to play the part and all this. I want to go somewhere where it's sunny and it don't rain all the time.
Right.
So I go out there for 18 months. I make it happen. I hit a couple brokers up. I started to do some different work out there. I was doing Amazon. I was reaching out to I was reaching out to Redaway. I was running loads for them. It wasn't consistent, but I learned that the non-consistent work paid more than the dedicated work. So I started to mix. The dedicated work was to pay my bills.
Right.
The broker work was to make profits because the profit margin was 50% more.
Usually that's an unconventional thought. Usually people would say that the dedicated work is where you want to be at.
No, the dedicated work is where you want to be at from a sense of consistency.
Okay.
From the job mind, from the consistency, I don't want to look for work mind.
Okay.
Which is why Amazon Freight right now doesn't pay me as much as I can go get somewhere else.
Okay.
But it's consistent and it allows me to be here.
Got you.
So I look for the work that allows me to be here, not for the ones with the biggest profits. So some people would rather be in their business full time and running it, trying to make the most money. I want my time. So I would rather make the 800,000, instead of making all of the millions, 800,000 here off this company, 800,000 off of this company. I'd rather do that because for one, I get bored easy.
Right.
So I need multiple companies because I'm gonna get bored with trucking on any one thing.
Right.
Because it's my personality. I just, multifaceted.
Yeah, how do you start finding these other customers and these other people you start reaching out outside of
cold calling, man?
Okay.
And that's the thing I push on my thing. Like everybody, I don't just push Amazon because I did it. I just say it's a good starting point. They're a shipper.
Right.
You want to find shippers.
Right.
Shippers is the most important person in the game. So anybody saying, let's not look at this shipper is crazy.
Right.
Because brokers are looking for who?
Shippers.
Dispatchers are looking for who?
Shippers.
Carriers are looking for who?
Shippers.
Okay then. So why am I not going to continue to build my relationship with a shipper when everybody's looking for shippers?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to say go talk to a broker when I can talk to a shipper.
Right. That's a fact.
I get my money every week.
That's a fact. How do you find shippers?
I find shippers cold calling, man.
How do you know who to cold call?
Anybody. Hey, if I drive past and they got a dock door, I'm calling them. That's my philosophy. I'm calling them.
It don't matter.
I'm calling them.
Do you do that? Do you actually drive in like areas where there's a lot of man, I can't think of the word right now, but industrial parks.
Yeah.
Looking for the bay doors and so forth and so on.
It's just like you go see.
You on Google?
I mean Google.
Okay.
Brokers near me.
Okay.
Freight forwarders near me.
Okay.
Third-party logistics companies near me.
Okay.
So I get on the phone. You ain't even got to be driving. They all listed.
Gotcha.
Distribution centers near me.
When
you don't even have to go out and drive. I mean, we got Google.
When you call them, what do you say?
I just asked for somebody in the shipping department.
Okay. And then what do you say?
I said, hey, I was driving by, or either I fake like I had been in a facility before, and I was like, hey, I was there dropping off a load, and I was running. If you guys, have any need for a local guy that's always in the area,
right.
It's much better for me to come and service you being locally than you having some guy that's just passing through town and trusting with your freight, he might run off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I started to build that, like, look, I'm here. I did the same thing in Phoenix. Hey, look, I'm a local guy in the area.
Okay.
And brokers are always, if it's consistent freight, they would much rather deal with somebody locally in the area. Because I didn't link up with some brokers that put me onto some really hot stuff too, though.
How many no's before you got to a yes?
In Phoenix,
typically, usually, yeah.
So in Phoenix, I called 30 people, I only got one hit.
Okay. What that one hit do for you?
That one hit got me about 75,000 a year.
Not bad. Not bad. Persistence. Persistence.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's how I got it. You gotta be.
What type of freight was that?
It was a company that had a contract with the hospitals.
Okay.
So I was delivering like dialysis machines.
Okay.
So this was super easy work. So they would call me and pay me $160 to put one dialysis machine on this big 26-foot box truck. It took up one piece of space. I really could have did it in my cargo van, but I didn't have a lift gate on it.
Okay.
And it worked, and they wasn't guaranteeing me to work. They was calling me often, but it was no guarantee. So some weeks I do $3,000 with them. Some weeks I do 500 with them.
Got you.
But it ended up being cool because I had a shipper. I had air gas. They was a shipper that I ended up able to. They'd give me like $500 to go like 150 miles, but they wouldn't call me all the time. So but it'll be a good day when they do.
Got you.
You know, I had Redaway Freight.
Okay.
Redaway Freight pays the best. They'll pay me $700 to go 60 miles. But you're gonna be putting 2,500-pound pallets on the lift gate.
Right. And wear and tear.
And that ain't no fun to deal with. You gotta think about it. I'm scrawny.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? So I'm a scrawny dude.
Yeah.
So you figure if I'm on a pallet jack, I'm trying to turn it. Like I got bird seeds, bags busted leaking all on my floor. Now my floor greasy. Now I'm in the back slipping. So even though it wasn't that much wear and tear as far as mileage, I realized I ain't trying to be doing all of this. That's hectic.
Right.
I done had pallets fall off.
Right.
I done almost smashed my foot because I jumped. I had something fell off and I kind of came off the lift gate with it. So I had to realize in that moment, okay, there's work that pays more, but what are you willing to do? Right. And that's what everybody got to ask yourself. It ain't like what makes the most money. Right. I'm not lazy. But I'm not the guy with the jackhammer on the construction site. I'm more of the foreman type. I'm a thinker. I'm not really that good with my hands. So when it comes in, so Amazon worked perfectly for me. Pallet jack, I was familiar with it from a warehouse. Right. From a warehouse standpoint, so I was familiar with. So I stuck with work that was easy like that. Required a pallet jack, but dock to dock. And I ain't trying to be on that lift gate playing with 2,500-pound pallets. Got you. So that stopped pretty quick.
So why'd you leave Phoenix?
I left Phoenix because I realized that market had constraints that I would be able to do really good as a one-truck person. Even though now, don't get me wrong, out there in peak season, I ate good. I was able to rent 4 trucks, hire seasonal drivers, and kill it. Okay. But so you're still renting? You didn't buy a truck yet? No. At this time, I had owned 2 trucks. Okay, so you had 2, and then you rented 2. Right. No, I had 2, and I probably rented an additional 3. Okay, got you. To make to the point where I was running 5 trucks. Got you. Okay. Peak season. So the whole time I'm running it, I understood it, but guess what happened? I turn up for peak season, I make $60,000, right? But guess what happened? The slow season comes around. So now I'm using this whole $60,000 to keep my drivers and to just maintain the rental costs and everything during that time while it's not really any much freight. So that peak season did good, but it still was bad because I lost all my money. Same thing happened the following year. Went up, did another 60,000, 70,000 profit. Lost it all in the 3 months preceding that because I didn't have any work. Got you. So it didn't happen until that roll into that 3rd year where after that peak season, boom. I had the peak season, and for the first time, I had work on the other side of peak season, which then I had consistent work. Okay. So dedicated work. So anybody out there on the load board, that's tires. I had 10 trucks over the road. So I know about being over the road. Picture working 16 hours a day. Me and my wife both working 16 hours a day trying to dispatch these trucks. Right. So at that point, I'm like, this is too much work. Granted, I'm making double the money that I'm making at Amazon, but I'm working twice as much. And now my wife's working twice as much. So who's going to cook for the kids? Right. You know what I'm saying? And you're driving as well still. No. You didn't drive yet? At that point, I'm not driving. Okay. As soon as, I stopped driving about a year and a half ago when I decided that there's no way that I could be a CEO from a truck. I can be a CEO for me, but there's no way I can grow this. Expound on that, please. So check this out. So in July of 2019, I made a decision. I said for the next 90 days, I'm not doing anything besides trucking. Because I was hopping in Uber, trying to do Uber to make ends meet. I was trying to keep the entrepreneur dream alive. I'm not going back to work. So I said, look, the only way I read a book called The E-Myth, and it dawned on me. It said it was like you can't be being in the business. So I okay, for the next 90 days, I looked at my income. I said, okay, how much is my cost of living? I'm like, okay, I can survive off about 4,500, 5 G's.
Okay.
All right. At this time, I had paid up my credit cards a little bit, so I had a little bit of credit. So I had about 6 months, enough where I had 6 months worth of bills.
Okay.
So I said, I'm finna stay in this house. I'm finna work these phones until I figure something out. It ended up paying off.
Okay.
So I stayed in the house, and I ended up getting accepted to Amazon Relay.
Okay.
At the time, you needed to have a semi. So I finessed the game, and I ended up hitting up JB Hunt because my insurance was like, why you need trailer interchange if you don't have a semi?
Right.
But at the time, Amazon Relay said you need trailer interchange.
Got you.
So I had to act like, I had to act like I was getting it. So I went to JB Hunt, and they ended up reaching out. I act like I wanted to work with them. They reached out to my insurance. Boom. They
Got
gave
the
me trailer
interchange. There you go.
So it was $150. So the normal person would be like, why am I paying $150? Boom. It was the whole scheme to make sure I'm ready and locked in for Amazon. Boom.
Right.
So now I'm working, but I'm in a truck to keep some money coming in.
Okay.
But I'm still thinking like, okay, I got to get somebody else in this truck.
Okay.
So as I'm building it up, I started getting clever. I said, okay, I learned about these labor-only moving companies. So I started to reach out to labor-only moving companies, and I'm like, look, I got a box truck. Y'all doing labor-only moves. Why don't I promote myself as a moving company, and whenever jobs y'all get to need a truck, y'all team up with me, and I'll rent out a truck.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
So I started to do that, and that started to bridge the gap for the income.
Gotcha.
It started to make sense. So then I ended up starting a moving company in the process. And so I would run my truck for Amazon at night, periodically whenever I had loads, and I would run the moving company during the daytime. So now I started to get back in the thing. Mind you, on my way back from Phoenix, the motor went out in my new truck, my $30,000 truck. The motor had went out. So I'm stuck with an old 24-foot box truck, like straight raggedy, little raggedy piece. And this is all I got now. I'm ready to quit.
Right.
I'm like my big truck. I'm paying a $1,200 note on the truck that the motor went out on.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to mess up my credit.
Right.
I had survived with my credit. So fast forward, October came around, and somebody was telling me about Selectus, which is a box truck load boy.
Yep.
I put one truck it's September. I put one truck over the road. I'm making $2,500 profit. I'm like, oh yeah. So guess what I go out and do?
What's that?
I go out and go get 9 more trucks.
Okay.
So Amazon had hit me up and said that they potentially could need somebody who got 10 trucks. They had sent me the email. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get 9 trucks and put them over the road. And worst case, if Amazon works out, I can just move these trucks to Amazon.
To Amazon, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
So,
how are you financing these trucks? You purchasing them or are you
rented them all?
Renting them, okay.
I rented them all.
Okay.
So I called Ryder. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get 9 trucks for a long time. They cut me a rate of $350 a week and 9 cents a mile.
Got you.
I'm like, so my operation cost, it made sense. I'm like, okay, even if I'm doing a lot of miles, I'm only about $600, $700 a week.
So for people who's curious, to rent a truck from Ryder, what do you need to do? What do you need to have? What credentials?
You would need to, it just depends on your mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like different people it could be rules, but I break rules.
Okay.
So you know.
Make rules.
So I would say, so Ryder, you would call and they'll tell you that they don't want to rent you a truck, until you got 2 years in business. But if you talk to the right person, you keep calling, somebody's gonna let you in. Hey, look, man, I got this box truck. I'm trying to rent it for a long time. They will let you in.
Got you.
Eventually you just gotta call around. You call the one in Atlanta, they might not. Everything is all about taking rejection well. Essentially, everything is about not stopping. Those no's mean you getting closer to the yes. Psych yourself out to believe that, and you will be successful.